everybody? Welcome back to Game Breaker Sports. If you just tuned in to the football guys, to Tim, to Streets, and to Mike Dog, they just had a good show right before us. But it's me, your host D-Bake, co-host Dylan. We're here today to go over today's Champions League draw that happened this afternoon. Of course, this is the big competition in soccer, basically the World Cup. For people that don't know about it, basically there's 8 or 9 big leagues around the world. Of course, the big one being the Premier League. You got La Liga, Serie A. You got just a couple of names there. Bundesliga League. You take the top 4 teams, you put it into the Champions League. There's 32 teams, and it's basically a World Cup format. They did the draw today. Pretty crazy, if I may say. Of course, PSG is the returning champs. One of the questions in the comment section, do you think PSG, aka Paris Saint-Germain, repeat as champs, or will we have a new Champions League champion for this upcoming season? Before I get to the comments, what is going on, Dylan?
Hey, not too much, man. Been up for a while. Woke up at like 4 in the morning for work. So these late night streams are something I'm gonna have to get used to if we do something like this more often. But I am excited to be here to talk some Champions League. I caught up with the draw today. Thank God for you for messaging me everything about it while I was at work and catching up with everything. So yeah, man, I got a lot to talk about.
I like the new format that they have. They started last year. Instead of you get was it 9 blocks of 4 teams, then the top 2 advance. I like this new format where they do away the block formats, and you just basically every team plays 8 games. And I believe it's the top 12 automatically advance. The bottom 12 get eliminated, and then the teams in the middle play each other to advance the knockout stage. It's a pretty cool concept that it came, and I like how you do 2 teams in each pot, and it diversifies it so the top teams don't just dominate through, and it allows for a little bit more competition.
Yeah, this format's so much better. Last season, well, the season before is when I really started watching it.
Yeah.
But this past season is when I really got into the draw, and this was the new format when it started last year. So yeah, just like you said, you're not seeing one team just basically dominate throughout the entire thing. You're actually seeing them being matched up with the powerhouses, and being a powerhouse themselves, they're actually being matched up with other people. So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and we did have news today, before I get to the comments. They're doing a little tweaking to the finals. The finals is going to be taking place in Budapest, Hungary. That's where the site of the finals will be. Usually how they do, you do in the opening rounds, you play 4 home games, 4 away games, and then you get to the knockout stage where it's a home and home leg against your opponent, and whoever scores the most goals wins. Usually it's whoever wins the series, but this is how soccer, aka football, they keep themselves different. They go by goal differential. But this year's finals is going to be in Budapest. And usually, wherever the site is, they play the game at 8 p.m., like standard time, wherever it's at. They have moved it up 3 hours to 5 p.m. now.
Wow.
So somewhere over here, where the game usually would be, say, Saturday or Sunday at 3 o'clock, now it's going to be at lunchtime, noon, which might be perfect for people that are off on the weekends or not doing too much. I think they're trying to get more people to watch it, and they're trying to make it the best time possible. Because the later it is, like that, like 3 o'clock, that's more of a time when people are out shopping, hanging out, or doing something. 12 o'clock, it's like, okay, more people over here are going to be home, but then say in England, it's going to be dinner time, and then there it's going to be nighttime. You're trying to get every region involved in watching the biggest game of the year.
Yeah, I sort of feel like noon is like that prime spot for television. And if you're trying to attract that audience from the US, which I feel like soccer in general over the years has been really attracting that US audience. And I feel like that moving that time slot up a few hours is really going to help it.
Yeah, especially with the more teams that the MLS is adding. I believe they're at 30 teams almost now, and they got like 1 or 2 teams in the pipeline. The MLS has the partnership with Liga MX or whatever it is in Mexico, and then it's just the partnership. You got the players that are going over from the Premier League, of course. You just had Thomas Moore go from, of course, Bayern Munich, and now he's on, I believe, Vancouver, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Vancouver. You got Young-Min Sung, of course, just left my Spurs to go to LAFC, of course. And then who's that player that was on Charlotte that just went back over?
Oh, man.
I'm trying to think of the name.
Forgot.
But you're seeing more of the development of players going back and forth from America over to one of the big teams, and then vice versa. Yeah. So it's more of a bigger thing in the States now. It's getting to the point where like even like Paramount Plus, they're staking their claim for the viewership that they wanted there. It's a big thing on Peacock with the Premier League. It's like it's starting to grow more and more over here, which is good for the product.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at the football in Europe, you got the Big Five. You got League One in France, which is the only one that is not streaming on like a major platform.
Yes,
because Premier League, Peacock, NBC, USA, ESPN for like the Bundesliga, for La Liga, and then Serie A is on Paramount and CBS. But you look at League One, which is obviously heavily dominated by PSG every season, but they're not on that major streaming platform. I have to subscribe to another thing just to watch that. And I'm like, dude, I said they need to get some sort of streaming platform for them.
Even the Norwegian League and I think it's pronounced Eredivisie, which is the Dutch league. They're on ESPN Plus. So you can watch those so you can watch those leagues. So it's like if you can get those, you got the Championship League, where Wrexham plays now. That's kind of on like Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
And a little bit of that. And of course, like Champions and Europa League on Paramount Plus. You would think that at some point to enhance the viewership of that they'd get one, or they'd hop on. And now when this new ESPN DTC is getting the ground rolling, and there's definitely chances for growth. Why wouldn't they try and go on Peacock or try and go on HBO Max, or just find something to hop on? Because just like you said, PSG's big. Monaco is like that number 2 team there, but then it's kind of like a fall off. And it's been between them two, or like Marseille, right there. It's like after that, it's a big drop off where I feel like every other league there's a little bit more of a competitiveness. Like Real Madrid and FC Barcelona are the top teams in La Liga, but then from 3 to 8, it is a dogfight to get in those last 2 spots.
Yeah.
And it's more fun to watch because, even those teams might not win it, they're gonna challenge those top 2 spots every year. Like, what has PSG won? Like almost like I feel like at least 5 straight titles in France.
Pretty much. I mean, because if you go look at the betting odds for futures, it's something I do quite often whenever I look at these Big 5 leagues. I feel like PSG is like the biggest odds I've seen. I think they're like like I think minus 1,000 to win League One already, and the season just started. The other biggest I know is Bayern Munich
Yeah,
is the heavy favorites to win Bundesliga as well, and that's followed by Leverkusen, who if you bet them, you're gonna win a lot if
yeah,
they somehow surprise a lot of people. You know, they have that big undefeated season, and then all of a sudden people start looking at them like they're a powerhouse. And I don't necessarily see them that way. I think Bundesliga is also just like how PSG runs League One, that they run the Bundesliga. And yeah,
yeah. So we got some comments in here before we get into everything. I also want to talk about some of the teams that have gotten better, some of the teams that kind of fell off a little bit, but you got Jordan. What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Of course, he's on you with Word Elite Pod. And of course, congrats to your third co-host who just joined you guys. Blaine, what's
yep.
up, fellas? Definitely check them out every Monday at 6 p.m. Am I
At
correct?
6 Central, yep.
6 Central Time. Wanted to get that correct over there on the Word Elite Pod. We got Tim. Yo, what's up, boys? If you missed them, they just went on, talked a little bit of football. Of course, they did their draft right afterwards. It was a fun watch. Him, Tim, and Mike Dog. Definitely check that out after you're done on here, and leave a comment for those guys right there. Getting ready for the football season next Thursday with the Eagles and Cowboys. Just had the big trade where Micah Parsons went to the Packers. So leave them a comment. Let us know what you think of that trade. He said, loving the beards. Hell yeah. And Tim said, this sounds like a fun event. It is. And the big thing about it is I love how the format is. They stretch it out. It goes from September basically to June. But the big thing is the 8 games, they do 1 and 1. Like a week, and then they take 2 or 3 weeks off. Then they do 3, 4, take the weeks off, and then there's like a month break for international play. Yeah. And all these games are usually on Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah, at like 12 or 3 Eastern. So it's very manageable if you have time. And then with it being on the app, you can go back and rewatch it if you want to. So like they do a great job of structuring how to watch it and to gain the most exposure.
Yeah, and the thing that makes it more fun is, like you said, the format. The format's fantastic because the champion this year or last season is a team that barely made it, and they somehow just went on to dominate Inter Milan in the finals. It's crazy.
It is nuts because we're like watching some of the teams that made it far. Just looking over at the Europa last year, how the finals was Tottenham and Man United. Going into extra time, Man United were down 2 goals in the aggregate. Going into extra time, and then they scored 3 goals in 7 minutes, and they wind up shocking and making it to the final. So it's like it's these types of games that you're going to get with the surprise and ending, teams losing, and you're like, okay, they're done. But then, boom, out of nowhere, they come in and win, and that's what they're banking on. They're banking on that. Of course, today at the draw, they had Kaka and Zlatan doing the revere there with the president. Yeah, those are 2 names that you can associate with the Champions League, and you can associate them with MLS. Of course, Zlatan with the Galaxy and Kaka with Orlando City. So, like, it's just a great watch. And then Blaine says, this sounds like a foreign language to me. If you know the World Cup at all, if you've watched the World Cup, it's basically the same thing. It's just how the teams get to the Champions League. That's the confusing part. I will say that. But other than that, like we do have a couple of news today. Like we talked about it. The Spurs just signed Xavier Simon away from, of course, RB Leipzig. It looks like it's for the amount of $60 million right there. They actually got a little bit less. They were trying to get him for 70, 80, but he shot down to 60. So they bring him in. Apparently, Chelsea just left Simon on a do not disturb for 2 weeks, and the Spurs pick him out from right behind Chelsea and add to that team. Of course, it's a bunch of signings. Of course, you did the same. Your Arsenal Gunners did the same thing to us like 3 days ago. You know?
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that the Spurs should know from what it like for a team to go right behind them and get somebody. Arsenal just did it. So
yeah, freaking Arsenal is going to be a tough team to beat here.
Yeah,
and they said the green light. They're just working on the diligence. Of course, the medical is the big thing there. So as long as that goes, he'll be with the Spurs. Of course, you got Gorgi Sudakov heading to Benfica. And other than that, of course, Man United and Kabi Mano, they're talking to each other. But the big thing today is Simon, of course. We'll say the big move this summer that's going to have me so intrigued is you guys signing Gyökeres, can't say his name, that's all I'm going to say, away from Sporting CP to add to that Arsenal Gunners team. How do you feel about picking him up? He had 2 goals in your first game of the Premier League season. How do you think he's going to gel with everybody there? Do you think he's going to make a difference? Or do you still feel like with Ortega like mansion the club, do you think that if you can't win this year, could it be because of him? Because you guys got the talent there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is the year that something needs to happen. This for one cannot be the second place, to Liverpool or even Man City. Man City can even come in there and actually win it again. I know a lot of people are picking Liverpool, but City is that sneaky pick for a lot of people to win it again. But Arsenal, I feel like this is the year they need to do it. The signing of Victor Gyökeres, signing the guy from Crystal Palace. Not even going to try to say his name because I know I'm going to butcher it. But I feel like those two right there, I feel like is like your missing piece. I mean, this is what you need to win the Premier League title. And, you already have so many great names. And I feel like adding those two right there is just something that you really need. But some bad news injuries. I know Kai Havertz is out for a while for Arsenal, which sucks because the injury bug has been hitting us so bad just with him. And I know that leading up to our big matchup with Liverpool this weekend at Anfield, I know that Bukayo Saka got hurt. I don't think his injury is as bad, but I know Odegaard also suffered an injury and he might be out for the game. So that is not what we want right now for such a big matchup for a team that just won with such a lucky goal against Newcastle this past week. And that was one from a 16-year-old too that got that. Crazy.
Yeah, I know. Very young, you're starting to see that. Of course, if you've seen Barcelona, you know how they have with that. What is he, 17 or now he's going to be 18?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They just get younger and younger, and they're signing them to a big deal early to gain the most value back. But yeah, like he probably will be fine. I see Kai Havertz for you guys. He's going to return soon after the knee surgery that he had, from what I see. And I think the big thing is you always start hot, but then it's May and June. That's where you kind of, for some reason, every year you start to just fall down. Do you think it's just the workload of the guys that are starting, and not like injuries, or like what is it for you?
I really feel like it's before the holiday break that gets us. I'm not sure if it was last season or the year before, but they were doing so well leading up to that holiday break. And then the month of December alone, before the holidays, they start dropping games left and right, whether they're losing at the last second, they're getting blown out, they go to a draw, just dropping points. So such crucial points that they needed to potentially, go over City one year. Or I mean, one with the Premier League last year, Liverpool wasn't losing it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they were unbelievable last season. But it's just, I feel like the holiday break is something that kills Arsenal every season. So I'm hoping this year, a couple new guys in the squad, something changes.
Yeah, of course. Like he's an Arsenal fan. Like I'm a Tottenham Spurs fan. We had like I don't know how to explain last year. We had a shitty Premier League season, but then when it came to Europa, it was like
Yeah.
night and day. And of course, we did it basically 80% of Europa League without Son, and now he's gone. But like those, like I don't know what to think coming in. Like I liked how we played against PSG in that, and of course the Super Cup.
Yeah.
And then the last two games we played well. Of course, new manager Thomas Frank. We got him, of course, from Brentford. He's more of a defensive style tactician, which I think fits us well because we've always been good on the defensive end. And now, like Son was great, but he was always hurt. Like we're going to rely a lot on Vicario and the defense and the emergence of Brendan Johnson. I feel like him with Solanke up there, we'll bring in Xavier Simon and whatnot. I feel like it's going to do good with the new format of the team. Like we're not worried about like fit in players that don't fit the coach. And I loved what Ange did to the team. He brought the first trophy to Spurs in like 20 years. I feel like unlikely. We finished 16th in the league, so as much as we won that trophy, you need to improve in your own league and use that to expect yourself to do good in the Champions League. And I think they've done it. Like take away the last 8 minutes in that Super Cup, and we could have another trophy. And then be tuned on in the Premier League. It's going to be something like we did come in with the pot 3, so I was real leery about how this was going to go. But this is the fun thing about soccer, like over in the other countries, is there's a lot to root for, like with games wise. Of course, you got your own league. And then you've got the league cups that are going on. Like a lot of your league games are Saturday and Sunday for the big teams. And then these league cup games, like Champions League is during the week on Tuesday and Wednesday. Europa is Wednesday, Thursday. They got the conference one, which is whenever. And then in England, they got the Carabao Cup and League Cup. These teams play a lot of games. A lot.
Yeah.
And all the coverage is around. So if you're very interested in watching the product, it's there. Like, definitely ask us about it. We were giving any of the information that you can. If you watch MLS but don't know anything about outside MLS, definitely hit us up in the comment section. We're here to get you guys interested in the product, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But of course, we're here for the Champions League draw, the recap. I'm just going to go over the pots. Of course, there's 32 teams. Each pot had 8 teams in it. They basically distinguished it. The first pot was teams, of course, that have made the Champions League and are big teams that have won it. Of course, the number one over team right there is Paris PSG. They won it last year. And it's just the list down. Them, Real Madrid, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Inter Milan, Chelsea, Borussia Dortmund, and FC Barcelona. And then you go to pot 2, pot 3, pot 4. basically how the draw works is you're going to have 8 games, but you're only going to play 2 teams from each pot. And what they're trying to do is make sure that you're playing 2 teams that are not from your own league. So you're kind of playing, so they're trying to make it so you're not playing teams that you're already playing. Like they're trying to diversify it. Like I've said it several times. They're trying to make it like so you see a lot of teams playing teams from other leagues. And as the pots go down, it's teams that have just made it this year or are new to the Champions League. So they're giving value to these year in and year out top teams in pot 1, and then in pot 4, it's teams that might have made it for the first time, like Kairat Almaty from the Kazakhstanian League or Paphos FC. There are 2 teams that this is like the first time making it in either ever or in like 5-10 years. And of course, these other teams that are in it, of course, I just did pot 1. Pot 2 is Arsenal, Leverkusen, Athletic Madrid, Benfica, Atalanta, Villarreal, Aventes. You got Eintracht Frankfurt, Club Brugge. Pot 3 is Tottenham, PSV, which is Paris Saint Valence. You got PSV Eindhoven. You got Ajax. You got Napoli, Sporting CP, aka Sporting Lisbon. You got Olympiacos, Slavia Praha, Bodo Glimt, Marseille. And then you got pot 4, which is Copenhagen, Monaco, Galatasaray, Union, SG. You got Karabag, Athletic Club, Newcastle, Paphos, and Kairat Almaty. Before we go to the results, pick one team from each pot that you think are sleepers.
All right. So obviously for pot 1, not going to go with the powerhouse like Madrid, PSG, Munich, anything like that. I think I'm obviously zeroing in on Borussia Dortmund, and I'm only saying this because when Niko Kovac took that team over in the Bundesliga, they were pretty much dead. And he brings them all the way back to a top 4 finish to get into in Champions League play. So I feel like that alone, I feel like they can compete with anybody right now. So I'll go Dortmund pot 1 for sure. Pot 2, I'm not gonna go Arsenal or a Bayer Leverkusen. Like I said, the big teams.
Yeah.
I think pot 2, I'll go Club Brugge. And I just saw what they did to Rangers. Unbelievable. 9-1 on aggregate. Unbelievable.
Was it 6-0 yesterday? Jeez.
6-0 yesterday, yeah. Unbelievable. Pot 3, I'm going to go with the Serie A champions. I'll go Napoli. I think adding Kevin De Bruyne over there just makes them better than what they already are.
Did they have, what's his name from Nunez from Liverpool?
He went to Al Hilal in Saudi.
That's who it is. There's somebody else.
Yep.
They added.
They play tomorrow, by the way, the first game.
Yeah, they added 3 big names, and it wasn't Nunez. It was I forget who it was. They got him from Liverpool. They got the one. I'm gonna remember it later. You know, that's the big thing with this is there's so many names that just fly at you, transfer and whatnot. Like you got to write it down on a piece of paper to remember the name. But yeah,
because they also got Simona Ganzi from Inter Milan to go be their coach in Saudi. They threw an ass ton of money at that man.
Yeah, and this is another thing too. If you thought spending money in football and NFL was big, these soccer teams spend 3 times as much money on players.
Oh yeah,
like Micah Parsons getting $45 million. That's chump change compared to what these players get a year.
Yeah. And pot 4, I don't know a ton about most of these. Obviously, I know like Athletic Club, Newcastle, Monaco, but I'm gonna go with Galatasaray on this one. I know they were in
You're
the
reading my
Euro.
mind.
Yes, and I actually played a lot with them on FC as well.
Yeah.
But they were in Europa last year. Am I correct on that one?
Yes, they were in Europa. They actually are the only team to beat the Spurs in Europa last year.
Yeah, but yeah. They got that guy from Napoli that stayed there on a permanent transfer. Yeah, I think adding him there, they just won a league title. Yeah, I think they have what it takes to make some noise in the Champions League.
Yeah, let me look this up because I believe if they already signed him, that would be a
I
big
believe they
thing for
did.
them. Oh, you know what? They do have Leroy Sané. They do have
Yeah,
him. They did, I believe they brought in Ederson from Man City, the goalie.
yes, they did. Yes, they did.
They brought
Because I
him
think
in. That was the big name that I thought was big for them was get a
that's
goalie like
true.
that with a lot of big game experience, especially at Man City. He's won a few Premier League titles. He's done a lot in the Champions League stages. It gives them that comfort zone in the back for
Right.
a team like that who have been a top team in that league year in year out, and they made damage in
Yeah.
these leagues. And I think the fact that they can step up here, they get that big name in between net, it's going to give them confidence there
Oh yeah.
against some of the teams they played. For me, like for pot 1, you see, this is tough because no one's talking about them. I'm gonna go Liverpool. Even though they're a
Okay.
big team there, when you think of this, you're gonna think about PSG, Real Madrid, Man City right away. I didn't even mention Munich, and they're going to be a monster this year. Barcelona, of course, with Lewandowski there. They got the young talent there. Barcelona is debuting their new uh, arena this week. Actually,
Oh.
they're doing a soft opening for 60,000 fans, and from what I heard, they're doing 5 away games to give them time to finish it, and then it's going to fit over 90,000 fans in
Yeah.
in that arena. It's going to be. It looks amazing. But
Dang.
their big thing is to get it ready for the Champions League stage. But
Hmm.
I'm going Liverpool here. They brought everybody back. They brought some big names in, coming off winning the Premier League, and they're still not getting all the hype to back it up. People are talking about Arsenal. They're talking to Man City still, right there. And you got Liverpool, who are the defending Premier League champs, just riding under the radar again, just where they want to be.
Yeah.
Top 2, that's a little tough. I do like Club Brugge. I was going to pick them, of course. They're right there. It's going to be them battling with Sporting all season, I feel like. But if I had to, and Benfica, if I had to pick a different team, I'd go with Atalanta. I like what they've done. They're right there in of course, the Italian league. 2 years ago, they went and won Europa
Hmm.
League. They had a little bit of fall last year, but I believe they finished second or third still. So it's like they had a fall and they did that and they added to the team, and they're a defensive minded team in itself with that experience. All those players that have experience on that team. I think it's going to pay dividends to them uh, with the better matchups that they get, depending on how the draw went. Pot 3, I'm going to go. You see, I'm going with Napoli just because, just for the fact that, like we said, they brought in Kevin De Bruyne. It comes in there. They won the league last year, of course. They bring in a big name there. They've added a lot of transfers to that team that are just going to make it better. And if you're going to win and then add all that, and you're still not going to be talked about there, I think the intrigue of them going to Man City for him. There's some cool bullet points, like some cool talking points, like him going back to Man City to play. You got Alexander Arnold going back to Anfield to play Liverpool. Like, it makes you think that maybe there's a little bit of inner workings to get these games talked about more. But I like Napoli there. And then pot 4, my pick was going to be Galatasaray because of Ederson. But if I had to pick another team, see, this is tough because I think Monaco's too big of a team. And Newcastle. But I'm kind of interested to see how Copenhagen does. I'm kind of interested. Yeah. It's either them or it's Athletic Club. But I'm going to go Copenhagen because the top team there in their league, they always challenge teams. Like a couple years ago, they played Man City to a tie in Champions League. I believe it was 3-3. They had a little bit of down year last year, but then they come back in, add some decent signings. And if they catch a team not playing well, that's a team that could challenge them right there. But that would be my thing. But I do love Galatasaray. I do I think that's a team that can make it past the regular stage and get into the knockout stage with the talent that they have in Leroy Sané, Ederson in goal. You're already a top team there. They've been adding more talent to that team, prying them away from bigger clubs, and then just throwing at them money and throwing them at the idea that you can make it to the Champions League every year in that league because you're going to finish first or second and qualify without having to go through the knockout qualifying stage.
Right.
Yeah. So that's my under the radar teams there, right there. But of course, I would say the top 4 teams right here, I feel like are PSG, Arsenal. I'm not going to be a homer, so I'll say so I'm going to say PSV, and then you see top 4 is tough. I'll go Monaco. Those are the top 4 teams. I feel like Tottenham's the top team in pot 3, but I'm going to try and play just look at it from all things and just go with PSV as the other team.
Yeah, I mean, for pot 1, obviously, I would go PSG simply because defending champions. I'll go Arsenal for pot 2. Just looking at it, I mean, because you could look at Leverkusen, but I kind of feel like since the undefeated year, they kind of fell off from where they were. I'll go PSV as well for pot 3 because I don't feel like
they just lost Zaha too.
Yeah,
he's not on the team anymore, and he was one of the big reasons that they had that big year was the emergence of him.
Right, because I would have gone Napoli as the top in pot 3, but even though they won Serie A and everything, they're not proven yet in Champions League play. So I'm not going to go them yet. But I feel like they have what it takes for me to pick it at some point. But
I got to see how they do with the new talent that they add to. Once you start messing with the chemistry, you got to see what happens.
Exactly. And then pot 4, I'll go Monaco.
Sounds good. But they have the draw, of course. We're going to break it down from each pot. We're going to show you the pot 1 team, pot 2 teams, pot 3, pot 4. And we're just going to gauge real quick who had a tough draw, who had a better draw. and then
Mhm.
just go from there. Here is the pot one, as you saw. We just talked about this like offline before we came on. Defending champion PSG quite possibly have one of the hardest draws I've ever seen in this. They play home against Bayern Munich, so they at least get that home. They play at Barcelona. They play home against Atalanta, away at Leverkusen, home against Tottenham, rematch of the Super Cup, away against Sporting CP, home against Newcastle, and away against Athletic, right there at the end. There is
Wow.
no layup game for them there where they can be like, okay, maybe we can use our backups, give them time. They're going to be going through a dogfight every single game.
Yeah.
That's just nuts. And they're the defending champions, so they don't even get that rub there of, oh, this is the defending champions. So, like, if they make it out, they're going to be ready for the knockout stage.
Yeah. PSG definitely has the hardest fixtures in group play, but man, just like you said, there's no game that's a layup for them. These are all games where starters are a must. I mean, looking at it, I feel like the easier games are kind of towards the end.
Yeah.
Sporting CP no longer Victor Gyökeres there. Newcastle, their whole thing with Isak or whatever his name
Yeah.
is, and then Athletic Club. I don't feel like is crazy hard, but I mean they start off with a bang, and then yeah, like I said, at the end it gets a little bit better for them, but still no layup for PSG at all. They have the hardest fixtures of the group by far, and just wow.
Yeah. Shout out to the 20 people in the chat. Let us know in the
Yeah.
comment section. Do you think that PSG is going to repeat, or yes or no? And then who do you have winning the Champions League if no? Let us know in the comment section there. Looking at some of these others, like I think Real Madrid, Man City, Liverpool, they've got that. Of course, Premier League, home and away there. I think it's better. I think it's better to play Man City at home because Man City is traditionally great at home. But then you got to play Liverpool away, and they're good at home at Anfield too. So it's like you got Juventus, Benfica. Like I think once you get to the end for Real Madrid, they benefited a little bit with Olympiacos and Kairat, but that
Yeah.
beginning there, look at some more of these like Bayern Munich has Chelsea and PSG, a little like PSG's away, but then towards the end, like you said, it's a lighter there. I'm trying to think, like if I had to say a team that really like got lucky, kind of with Liverpool. I feel like Liverpool got
Yeah.
lucky. Like you get Real Madrid, which is the hardest draw on your list, and you get them at home. In Milan, we don't know how they're going to be. They get them away, but then you got Athletic, Frankfurt, PSV, Marseille. But then at the end, you got Karabag and Galatasaray. That Galatasaray game could be tough because it's at Galatasaray, but by then they could have their spot locked up, depending on where that game is going to be placed. Because this isn't
Yeah.
going to be the order. They're going to shake this up and do a different order. They might not have to worry about that game, Like,
Yeah, if Liverpool didn't get it too easy, I think Barcelona got a little bit easier.
yeah.
I mean, you're starting off with PSG, then you got Chelsea, but after that, it's not terrible.
Yeah, I was about to say the BRU was Borussia, but that's Club Brugge.
Yeah.
I had to differentiate that. But yeah, man, right off the bat, like like if I had to look at it's so tough to decide with PSG how they're gonna do. Because I gotta see how they do in goal. That's
Yeah.
the big thing here. Like, of course, they made the controversial move after winning Champions League not to bring back Donnarumma,
Yeah.
and he might go to, and ironically, he might go to Man City as their backup, as
Yeah.
Man City's backup, and so it's like, and they struggled in goal, like the past couple of games, even though they've won, but they've struggled in goal. How are they going to do with who they have in these stages, especially these hard games where it's like it's going to be hard for them to get a feel. Like you're going right through the fire with this young goalie of yours, and whatnot. Like they're going to have to. Can they beat Minor, even if it's home? Like Minor's going to be a juggernaut. Like that's going to be I think the toughest team to beat is Munich, and it depends on the spotting of where their games are. Like if I was PSG, I would hope that they get to play him first thing, that get it right out the gate, get that challenge, and then mix in. But it's like there's no like, who do you play first? You know.
So looking at the pot one teams, who do you see losing their first game?
Ooh. If we went by this, where you go by the first row with these teams, see, that's a tough game. Barcelona, PSG. That's a tough game. But you know what? You see, you got to look at it differently because they got Barcelona with PSG, but then they have Barcelona with Chelsea. I'm going to go Dortmund. I'm going to go Dortmund. I think they lose to Man City.
Yeah.
I think that it's a tough game, but I think with how Man City, you got that Erling Haaland effect right there where he used to play Dortmund and then he gets to play his former team here, and he gets to play him in Man City where they've lost, I feel like a total of like 3-4 games over the last 2 years. They don't lose at Etihad Stadium that much, even though they did lose there last week to Tottenham, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, I mean, I could look at Chelsea. I mean, Barcelona. I mean,
I can even look. I can look at that. Inter Milan lose. I could see them losing to. No, I'm going to go Inter Milan because they don't like Liverpool.
Yeah,
it's crazy because Inter Milan were the runners up last year.
Yeah. Shit, the way they played in the final, you wouldn't think they were a runner up. That was bad.
How about this? Take 3 teams can advance from this. Who will it be? I'll just say 3 teams right now, and like it could be more, but I'm just gonna say 3 teams.
Oh, okay. I'll go PSG. Like I said, until someone proves they can knock off the champion, I feel like I gotta go PSG. I'll go with Madrid, and I'll go with even though I can't stand them, I'll go Barcelona.
Okay. Yeah, and my thought process is in each pot, like 12 teams are guaranteed to make it to the next round, and then you got like that knockout stage that's within the winner, and 12 get eliminated. So I figured if we do 3 from each team, that's 12 from each pot. So who are your picks? PSG?
PSG, Madrid, and Barcelona.
Okay, right there. I'm going to go with Barcelona. I'm going to go with Liverpool, and I'm going to go with Munich. I'm not sold yet on this PSG team. I think they could make it if they play to their capabilities. But I got to see this goalie play a clean game before that happens. I know what I'm going to get from Munich. I know what I'm going to get from Barcelona. And I know what I'm going to get from Liverpool.
Right.
I just don't know where I'm going to get from him. If I have to look at it real quickly right here, because they just beat one of the in the first game. They won 1-0. Like there, they're 2-0. They've only scored 2 goals in 2 games in the French league. Two
Yeah.
goals, and they've given up none. But
Yeah.
like they're not scoring the 2-3 goals that you expect them to. They beat Nantes and they beat Angers, which are 2 of the teams that are on the lower end of the spectrum in that league.
Right.
They're going to have to score goals against these teams to beat them, like 2-3 goals. They're going to get into big time fights with these teams, and I'm going to see how they do against adversity. When they got to have that guy that can come through, like what happened last year with Dembele, who stepped up last year, but we're not seeing it this year.
Exactly.
So right now I'm leaving them out, but I wouldn't be surprised if they start clicking at the time. It's just going to be hard with the schedule.
Yeah.
Moving on to, of course, pot 2. We got a couple more left. Shout out to the people in the chat. Look down below. We are Game Breaker Sports. Follow us on Twitter/X. It's right down below at Game Breakers Hub. And then, of course, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel down below. Smash the like button and leave us a comment. Yes or no, PSG will repeat as Champions League champions. Moving on to pot 2, right there. Of course, right here. The first thing that catches my eye is Leverkusen. They got PSG and Man City right at the bat, and they got that. They at least get PSG home. They got Man City away. That's going to be tough. Just looking at here, this is, I think that Frankfurt got a hard draw here. I think they got the hardest draw. Liverpool, Barcelona, Atalanta, Athletic Madrid, Tottenham, which is at home, Napoli away, Galatasaray, and Karabakh. He says, when does it start? It starts in 2 weeks. I will send you the information afterwards. I'll send you that. But the games will be at 11 o'clock Central Time and 2 o'clock Central Time, Tim, on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. There's always plenty of games that are going to be played too on Paramount Plus. So where the UFC's going.
Dude, if we can convert Tim into a soccer fan, that is a huge win on our part.
I'm going to die a happy man if that happens. I'm going to make it happen.
That'd be great. Yeah.
The crowds are crazy. And he says,
oh, sorry.
Okay, cool. During the day, during lunchtime. Yeah, exactly. They haven't announced with the games, like who's playing who when, but it's like I'll send you the whole thing and you'll see it and you're going to hear everything from me. So you're not going to miss a thing. Nice. Maybe Dylan, maybe.
That's the goal.
Yeah. So, of course, I actually like your draw here. It's not that bad. Arsenal, Munich at home is going to be tough. Inter Milan away will be tough. But I think the one game that would really, be interesting is you guys at Club Brugge. That's going to be a fun game there. But other than that, I feel like the back half is pretty light. Kairat, you get them at home. You're going to Slavia Praha. That's going to be an easier game. Olympiacos at home. And, of course, like I said, Bayern Munich, you get them at home. So it's very favorable for you guys. Whereas, like I said, Leverkusen has a little bit tougher. I kind of like Atlanta has a heavier front half, but then the back half I feel like is manageable. Frankfurt definitely has, I think, the hardest.
Yeah, they
They're
do.
like overall, like all the way at the end, it's their hardest game. Like this rivals PSG's, but they at least get Carabag at the end.
Yeah.
If you had
Yeah,
to
obviously, yeah. Obviously, Frankfurt has the toughest one, easily.
Yes. Pick it. If you have to pick 3 teams to advance from this, who do you got?
Arsenal, and this is not just me being a homer either. I just think Arsenal is the better team at this pot easily.
I think they're number 1 by far.
Yeah. So Arsenal, I'll go Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah.
And Juventus.
Ooh, Juventus. I like that one.
I kind of feel like it's just been one game. I feel like they're finding their footing in Serie A right now. Their biggest drawback last season was the constant amount of draws they were going to, but they had a good win. I think they just got Jonathan David from Lille, in France. He already scored his first goal over there, so I feel like they're finding their footing a little bit over there. So I could see them doing something pretty good in this pot for sure.
By the way, did you hear the news of who might be going to the French league?
I did not.
Jamie Vardy might go to Cremonese.
I've been hearing this man's names everywhere. He needs to just go somewhere.
He needs to pick, but that's the rumor right now is he's going to that. By the way, Bayer Leverkusen lost their first game of the Bundesliga League 2-1 to Hoffenheim.
I seen that. Yeah, because I bet on them and they lost. I was
yeah, they did that. Frankfurt looked good, and then whatnot. Looking at some Leipzig doesn't look like they're going to be great. Dortmund did drew.
Yeah, that was a tough game to watch. They were up 3-1, gave up 2 goals in a matter of minutes. That was a tough one.
I'm going to go with Arsenal. They're going to be the one. I'm going to go with. See, this is going to be tough. I'm going to go Atalanta.
Mm-hmm.
After those first 2 games, I think they can manage the rest of them there. I think that they can do that. I think if they can beat Chelsea, that would be huge. If they could beat Chelsea, that's the one game with them, because I feel like they could beat Union St. Harass. I feel like they could beat Marseille, and I feel like they could beat Slavia Praha. It's the rest of the games, but I feel like they can do that. That's my number 2, and then I have to go Leverkusen right now. They're slumping out of the gates, but I feel like they had the talent on this. I feel like it was between them and Club Brugge. I do like Benfica. Benfica is a really good team.
Yeah.
They got great. Real Madrid, Chelsea, Leverkusen, Juventus, Napoli, Ajax, Newcastle. That's a tough stretch there. So I feel like they're a team that should advance, but it's going to be tough for them with the draw that they got. So I'm going to go Arsenal, Leverkusen, and Atalanta. I do like that Juventus one. I do like that because there's a team there.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on to pot 3. Right here. I'm just going to go out and say I'm happy with the draw that the Spurs have. You know, we do play at PSG, but then we got Dortmund, which they look good now, but we played them good last year. We get them at home. Villarreal at home. Frankfurt's going to be a tough away game, but then we got Slavia. We got the rematch with Bodo Glimt from the semis from the Europa League, and we played there. We get Copenhagen and we get Monaco away. Right there. So I feel like we've got lucky with that. Looking at some of these draws right here. Napoli has a tough one. Take it away, Carabag and Copenhagen. I think the first 6 are tough. I think PSV, that's tough too. I think
Yeah, I was gonna say PSV's got a tough one.
Marseille has a tough one.
Yeah.
But looking at one of the teams that got lucky with this, it's of course Tottenham, maybe Ajax. I think Ajax on the back half might have got
Yeah.
a little lucky there with that, And they're the top team in that Dutch league, so I think they didn't get very well having Inter Milan and Chelsea, Benfica, but towards the end, if they can play their cards right, they might be able to do well. But
Yeah.
for me, I'll start off. I think the top 3 teams for me easily. I might sound a homer, but I like Tottenham. Even if I mark PSG as a loss, because if we did play them, it was very tough. And I think we beat Copenhagen, Bodo, Slavia, Villarreal. If we can win one game between Dortmund and Frankfurt, and then that Monaco game is a toss-up, I feel like we should advance. And then I'm going to go with Napoli. And this might be a shocker right here. This might be a shocker with this pick right here. Oh, my God. Am I going to go with that team, or am I going to go with the other team? See, I got 2 teams that I'm thinking of right here. You know what? I'm going to go with I'm going to go. Oh, geez. Just based on the schedule, I'm going to go Bodo. I'm going to go with the shocker here. That Man City's tough, but I think Dortmund, Juventus, they're going to be a little tough, but Athletic, Tottenham, but then they get through the 3 games at the end. Oh, you know what? No. You know what? I'm going PSV. I think PSV gets it done. Tough 3 games, but then the back half, I think they have a chance.
So you went. I went Spurs, PSV, and Napoli. That's the 3 that I was choosing as well. Because if you look at Spurs, if they do exactly like they did last year, if they treat that European competition like they did the Europa, I think it's a no-brainer they move on. But they got newer players from the transfer window. They're looking better already in the Premier League.
I hope that Superliga game pays dividends. Even though we didn't win it, you still have that game under your belt, that big time game. You're going to play them again, even though it's away. We did play them on a neutral site, but it's still that feel. That's what the Champions League is going to be, and we've got that advantage of already having that game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I could definitely see them moving on. Like I said, if they treat the European competition like the Europa last year, they're a shoe-in to move on in the next round. PSV, looking at theirs after Munich and Liverpool, you got Leverkusen, you got Athletic, and then you got Napoli. But the back end of it's not terrible. So I could really see them, and I could see them upsetting some of these teams too. So
yeah,
I was almost going Bodo Glimt on this one, but I'm like, no. I said, looking at theirs, it's a little tough on the front end.
If it wasn't for Galatasaray,
the
game being at Galatasaray, if it was at home, I might have went Bodo, but because it's away.
Yeah, you go on the road. Yeah, it's a little tougher.
Yeah. Moving on to the last pot. This is the one where things start to break down a little bit. The first thing off my bat is right here is Kurs Kairat. The first time in a while, and they got to go play Madrid, Inter Milan, Club Brugge, Arsenal, Sporting, right there. Those are tough games. That Copenhagen, at least they get to play Paphos. That's going to
Yeah.
be an interesting, fun game between both bottom teams there. But it's going to be tough for those two teams there to advance because they're like the talent that they played, those two. But looking at the rest of them, like Newcastle has Barcelona, PSG, Benfica, Leverkusen, PSV, Athletic Club. That's kind of tough. You talked about it earlier. We don't know how they're going to do with the ins and outs of that team. Of course, they made it there, the top four, and then won a trophy. But that team's we don't know how that's going to go. Karabag, I think they're still a team that hasn't had the competition there. They got a tough schedule. USG is a team that I'm intrigued on here. But, tough schedule there. I think the three teams that I like from this, Galatasaray. Oh, see, that's the team that I'm like, I like that right away. I like them. See that top. You know what? Galatasaray, Monaco, and I'm gonna go right now. Newcastle. No, yeah, Newcastle. I'm gonna go that because I think just the talent that they play in the Premier League, I puts that over the hump over Athletic Club.
So I'm with you on the Galatasaray and the Monaco, but if Newcastle's if their stretch wasn't so bad,
yeah,
I would have went with them. But I mean, you look Barcelona, PSG, Benfica, Leverkusen, PSV, Marseille. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, it's rough for them. And Premier League play, they're not looking fantastic right now. And now you're going against these powerhouses.
They did just beat.
I don't know.
Was it Man City that they just beat?
Well, I know Newcastle just lost to Liverpool that last second goal.
Hold on, where is it? Maybe that was in the. Yeah, they lost to them. Give me 1 second. Okay, never mind. Yeah, that I think it was the League Cup. It might have been.
So Monaco, Galatasaray, and let's see. I'll go with Athletic Club as my third. I know it's a little tough at the beginning, but
I was going back and forth with that because it's like I'm like, do I go with that? Do I go with somebody else? Like, and it was tough, but like I can see that right there with that. So that's your top three. So if we had a way, those teams would advance. It was like you could tell the teams that are like, okay, they're just here. They might get a win. They might play a team. And then there's bubble teams. I like the most fun that I like during this is those bubble games. Once we know who automatically advanced and then who automatically are eliminated, I like that middle spot there. Like, 13 to 25 or 26 or whatever it is, where they pit the teams against each other. And then if you win, you're into the knockout stage. You lose, you're done. Because that's where they're going to claw their teeth, salving, they know, do or die. You got to play the extra game. And I believe PSG was in that. If I have to correct, they were in that do or die game where they had to win because they came out of the gate slow and they didn't even get that automatic spot. So it's like it's just like in baseball with the wild card or whatever. You get on the groove, you win that game, it might propel you there. And I like some of those matchups. You're going to get a great matchup there where you're like, those teams have to play each other. Like, because I believe it's like they do it by points and they try and match it up there, like on like a rank stage. So that's That's always the fun spot there, that week or two that they do it. Because I believe it's just one game. They don't do the or did they do the home and home, or did they just do the one game?
I think it was the home and home. I think.
Yeah. Either way, I love it. Tim says, can't wait to gamble on this tournament and learn football. Oh, trust me. The lines that they give out on this are very favorable.
Oh yeah.
There's always a reason. This is one of the reasons why I don't do the money line on this. I do the goals because there's going to be a lot of those goals scored in the matchups, and you can find really good odds on like just random things. The other day I had Club Brugge 1.5, and they score 6 goals. You know?
It's crazy.
Yeah. I had Brand. I had 1.5 for -110. They score 3. It's like they're all about looking for that there, but like you make a lot of money on here because the lines in soccer, football are very favorable. This is where the money is at. So, which is a good segue because, of course, following us, we do have the Game Breaker sports picks between me and Dylan that we do daily. All you got to do is go on over to, of course, the Twitter or to the website that we have with Game Breaker Sports. And you can see our free picks there. If you want to go to the next level and you want to gamble a little bit more, if you want to see more picks, of course, we do have a site, winnable.com / GSB Sports 2025. You can find that on the X page. I can put it in the description afterwards, but we put out picks daily. Right now we're covering football / soccer, and we're covering baseball, but we will be doing college football and NFL. We just opened up. I just put up a football plan on there. Of course, we do have the free plan. We get out a couple of picks daily. We've got the VIP monthly, which is just right now a bunch of the soccer and baseball, but we're going to have football separate. We're going to have a football plan monthly. You can do weekly, or you can even just do daily if you just want to do Sunday. We're going to put them out, of course. You just got to go over to winnable.com / of course, GSP Sports 2025. If you're into sports betting, check us out in there. Of course, if you need to, just go over right down below at Game Breakers Hub to the Twitter page. Everything's on there. We post the free picks on there. If you want to go to there, the link's on there if that's easier. But definitely check out our picks if you're into betting. We're getting into nitty-gritty. Our free picks are hitting right now. We hit at a high rate. But don't miss out on great deals with our VIP monthly and the football tier that will be coming out. Tim said, your baseball picks have been great this week, except today.
That no-run first inning is going to send me to my grave, dude. Oh, my God.
You're hit it, man. You're hit it. You've just been unlucky. That's it.
One of these days.
Yeah, but otherwise, we do got a lot of good things coming up with Game Breaker Sports. We're bringing you the sports coverage here. I'm sure me and Dylan will come back on just to do an update on the Champions League. We'll come on and see how the teams are doing. We might even come on to talk the Premier League there too. But you can always tune in to the Game Breakers guys every Thursday, talking football, mostly Tim, Streets, and Mike Dog. And I believe they're going to be live next week doing a watch along for the opening game, Thursday night football between the Eagles and the Cowboys. So definitely tune into that. Keep an eye on the YouTube channel. Hit the guys up in the comment section They're trying to grow the channel, trying to give you the coverage. But the big thing here also is tune in and check out the website. That is the big thing there. You want to take all the articles, all the pics, and all the videos under for these episodes under one website. Just go onto the website. It's plugged into the info section down below. Access it, check out all the stuff on there, and just let us know what you think. But other than that, you got any last words?
No, man, this was fun. Looking forward to doing some more soccer talk. As you mentioned, talk some Premier League, some Champions League, and even maybe do some watch-alongs of our own. I know when Arsenal and Spurs play each other, I'm looking forward to. Got my Arsenal kit in the closet, ready to take that out.
I got my green one and my green warm-up one. I'm trying to get the new Spurs black one.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't come in until October. It's on back order.
Damn.
But, so I gotta wait. But that new black one this year looks solid.
It's nice. Yeah.
I love it. Like I'm trying to get that in. So I at least had the green one from 2 years ago. Their warm-ups. I still got that one. I still got that one. But I'm trying.
Nice.
But this time, I'm definitely not getting a name on the back. I'm just getting.
That's how I got my Arsenal one. There's no name on the back because I have the worst luck with people on the name.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Exactly. But other than that, like we said, just check us out on social media. Follow the X channel. The link, the thing is down below. The handle. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and leave a comment in the comment section. Yes or no, PSG were a repeat as champions, and if no, who's going to win? Let us know in the comment section. That is it, and Dylan, we're wrap things up.
Absolutely, this was fun. Looking forward to the next one.
Peace.